Stress is a normal part of our lives. It's a fact of life, actually, isn't it? Now, this year, it's become even more important. And with all the things that have happened, stress really has become so much more of an issue within our lives, something that we've been focusing on. Now, the word stress has actually come to have much more of a negative connotation overall, even though it's not necessarily all bad. In fact, it's not all bad at all. The fact is that if in life we had no stress at all, we actually wouldn't get a whole lot done. Positive levels of stress actually help us to take action. Hi, I'm Marianne from One Life to Flourish, and welcome to a series for those dreaming of making the leap from their job to being a business owner. Welcome to today's episode where we are focusing on stress and how to deal with its negative impacts. Now, my special guest is naturopath Jeannette Scapens, and she'll be joining us shortly. Before we begin, though, a little bit of housekeeping as always. First of all, if you know someone who is dreaming of being a business owner or they're just starting out in business, maybe invite them over to watch the broadcast. Just use the arrow down below. And also, we are going live in a few different locations. Now, the starting location is My Time TV Live. So if you are actually wanting to interact, if you've got any questions and things that you want to get to us, then you need to be watching through that particular Facebook page. Otherwise, please enjoy the broadcast. If you make comments, then I'll catch up with you after we've finished. All right, now let me introduce my special guest, give you a little bit of an idea of what she's all about. So I first got to know Jeannette at the beginning of the year when we actually did our NLP practitioner training together. And I discovered that she's got a fascinating amount of knowledge, particularly in the area of women's wellness. So this is all the things that she actually knows about. So she's a qualified women's wellness naturopath and a weight loss coach. She's a certified metabolic balance coach, an NLP practitioner and coach, and a hypnotist, an eating psychology coach, a thyroid recovery practitioner, and a theta healing practitioner. So she brings an amazing breadth of knowledge together that she uses to get the best results that she possibly can for her clients. And it is her personal mission to support and empower women to achieve better health, more energy, reach and maintain their health goal weight, and feel great so that they can lead their best life possible. So her special areas of interest are around tackling midlife weight gain so that you can actually work on maintaining your healthy weight, hormonal imbalance with a focus once again in that midlife area, so perimenopause, menopause, thyroid recovery for an underactive thyroid, and her specialty there is Hashimoto's. And she also incorporates within her business positive mindset using NLP and hypnosis. And I know because I've seen lots of things about this and seen lots of positive reports that she has an amazing midlife weight gain sort of program, which we'll ask her a little bit more about. It's a 12-week program that is individualized based on blood tests. All right, let me welcome Jeannette now onto your screen.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Hi, Jeannette.
Hi,
Yes,
how are you?
I can hear you. Hopefully everyone else
good.
can.
My first microphone wasn't working, so earbuds.
No.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad we were finally able to have you on the show. So it took us quite a few months to get there, but it's great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, and I know from the talks that we had when we were doing our training together that you've got some really interesting things that you can share. So we might start first of all, because we've kind of had our big intro into all the amazing things you can do. Maybe if we start with talking about what your business actually is, and I think you've also got sort of like a special program coming up fairly shortly as well, haven't you? So maybe if we sort of
Yes.
talk a little bit about that, and then we'll dive into some advice for business owners, and then finish up with talking a little bit about stress.
Yes, certainly. Well, I have always had an interest in natural medicine just because I found that regular medicine didn't have all the answers for me. And then I suffered a major sort of health crisis in 2011, and I was laid up on a couch for 6 weeks. I couldn't really do anything. My heart was racing, high blood pressure, just, yeah, felt really crap, basically. And I sort of reevaluated my life, I guess, and thought, what am I meant to be doing? What is my purpose? What should I be doing? And I came to the realization that I did want to be a naturopath. I sort of toyed with the idea, a couple of times, but it's a very expensive course to do. And I'd sort of put it in the back there for later.
Yeah.
And this time it was like, where, big kick up the bum, sort of like, no, you've got to start. So that's what I did. I sort of ended up starting, once I felt a little bit better, I started studying, and that took me about 4.5 years part-time, and while working part-time. And I just love what I do. I was able to help myself. I actually discovered I had this autoimmune underactive thyroid condition, and now I help other people, women who are feeling not great, because it's the key thing I hear is that they're dragging themselves through their day. They've got no energy. They're so stressed. Modern life is stressful, and we weren't meant to have this constant level of stress all the time. So there's it's all about managing the stress so that you're more in balance, get your hormones in balance, your metabolism, and get you feeling great again, really is what I'm on about. And my focus is this 12-week fabulous personalized nutrition program called Metabolic Balance, and that literally was the turning point for me. I dabbled a bit in nutrition and herbs and minerals and that to try and get myself right, but it wasn't until I did this program it just gave me back my life, because I really was not well. And now I help support other women to regain their life back and feel great again. And it's just a joy to support them on their journey and to empower them, because they find out what foods are right for them personally, because it's based on a really comprehensive blood test looking at their metabolic biochemistry. And from that, their nutrition plan is tailored to them. I take into account their health history, their current symptoms that are bothering them, and put it all together. I actually look at their irises, because our irises, the coloured part of our eyes, give a lot of information about our health and what's going on with our digestion, inflammation levels, what we've inherited, the tendencies we've inherited from our 3 generations back. So your left eye's actually inherited information from your mother's side, and your right eye from your father's side, would you believe? Oh. And it's really interesting. So when I take photos of a client's eye, you can see quite a difference in their eyes, actually, which explains it, and they're called nurture points, the signs and colours and things that I see. So that's where I come in and support those, so that they can, have more optimum health. So it really is. I get such fabulous results because targeting nutrition is at the base level, of our how we function. It builds our muscles, our bones, our nerve impulses. So getting the right nutrition will really bring about great change, and then you're just left with the real struggling things at the end to deal with herbs and nutritional medicine or whatever. So it's just
fascinating.
It's just brings me great joy. Like yesterday, a 69-year-old woman came in. She's been doing the program for 6 weeks. She's not dropped 9.5 kilos. And she said, you know, when I came to you, my moods were actually so low. They're now normal again. I've got good energy, and she's dropped the excess weight. So it's a very holistic program, and that's where I bring in, of course, the mindset tools to help get the mind on board, because that was something I found was a bit missing, a bit of a missing link. You know, some people manage fine to follow the program, their nutrition plan, and get to their goal and that, but there was quite a few that were struggling. So that's really helped to shift those sort of blockages, I guess, and move forward and be able to live their best life. Yeah.
Yes, well, quite often what's happening in the mind is the missing link with anything we want to change, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, our subconscious mind has a lot to answer for. Yeah.
As we know, with all the stuff that we do around that.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously at the moment you're really doing something that you're passionate about, something that you've kind of had the desire to do for quite a long time. So can you take us back to maybe what you were doing before, you know, you had that moment on the couch where you said it's time to change?
Yeah.
So what were you doing before?
Yeah. So I was a children's librarian in a public library for 11 years, which I loved. I sort of fell into that because my mum was a teacher librarian, and I used to go and help her, you know, in the library. And I thought, this is pretty good. You know, you tell stories and, you know, you make things and do displays, and yeah, this is pretty fun. So I did that for 11 years. I did a Bachelor of Arts in Library Studies to become a children's librarian. And then after my 2 children, my mum was really ill and I couldn't sort of go back to that job. It was just a bit too much. So I just wanted a few hours to keep me busy and still, you know, feel like I was contributing in some way. So I ended up supporting a teacher librarian in a school library for many years. And I did enjoy it, but I just, you know, I was at the computer and I was doing some work and I thought, is this all there is? You know, is this what I'm meant to be doing? I really, and I actually sort of collapsed at work, was rushed to a doctor. My heart was racing, blood pressure, and that was the start of my sort of, you know, journey, I guess, to where I am now. It was like, right, you're not listening. We're going to make you listen. you know. So then I was laid up on the couch, and so that was sort of what happened, and you know, it took a lot of time and dedication going without social functions and that, and really I was really driven, like at high school. I loved biology, but chemistry, that was like another language to me. And having to study chemistry and biochemistry, I was like, no, I'm just going to do it. It was the mind, you know, I really got that drive to succeed with it, and I followed it through, and I'm so glad I did, because I just love seeing the fabulous results that my clients get. And yesterday, so I offer this other sort of program. It's a hair analysis test, and you just take a little sample of hair at the back of the head, and that's sent off to a laboratory up in Queensland, and that looks at the biocompatibility of your hair, you know, what you're made of, your hair and that, against 600 foods and products and that, and it gives you a report of the foods you should avoid. They come up in red, and the ones that you are able to eat that are compatible with you at a cellular level, that aren't causing irritation to your cells, they come up in black. So you then can follow those. Well, I had a 73-year-old lady come in a month ago. She had the worst psoriasis I've ever seen. It was all in her, under her breasts, between her breasts, along her cesarean scar, in her scalp. She'd had it for over 20 years. And it almost brought me to tears to think this poor woman had been suffering with this with no relief. She'd also gone through breast cancer last year and radiation therapy. Previous year, thyroid growth removal, so now on thyroxine. And I wanted her to do the metabolic balance program, but it was too far stretch for her. Her diet was really poor. She was having flavoured milk for breakfast and things like that. So I thought, right, the hair test, we'll start with that. Well, I caught up with her yesterday. She's had a 50% improvement in her condition, her psoriasis on her body,
Wow.
and 80% on her scalp in 2 weeks following her food plan and that. It was just amazing. And I think I was more excited than her. I was like, so are you really happy? You happy with the results? It's only going to get better. You just keep following it. And it was like, I was so ecstatic. So yeah, these sort
Yeah.
of results are what makes, I just came away in a real high. I had the lady that had dropped the, 9.5 kilos on the metabolic balance. And then this lady, she's in Whyalla, so it was an online consult. And they were shaving her head because of the psoriasis. So her hair had actually been allowed to grow back because it was 80% better. And
Wow.
that's just, changing her food. And I did give a supplement, a magnesium B and gut formula, and an immune support for drops as well. But mainly it's the diet, again. So just amazing results. And so it makes my heart sing when I have those days. It really does.
Yeah. I know when you can see how the things that you're passionate about just make such a difference for other people. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about your progress from, being like the librarian and the support person to a librarian to actually being a business owner, because that's a fairly big leap.
It is. And when I was doing my studies, it was a big decision, and I did work while studying. And then the final year when I did my clinical hours, I gave up my job and just focused on that. I really needed to. And, but, in our studies, we're sort of taught about, it's all about the, being a naturopath, helping people, getting these amazing health and wellness changes. And, the people just come to you. Well, were they wrong?
Yeah.
Put out your sign and they'll just come. Well, yeah, that's not what it is. You've got to be an accountant. You've got to be a marketing expert. You've got to be, what else is there? I don't know. You know yourself. Social media expert.
Yes, exactly. Yes, so many things that you have to do.
Yeah, and it's detracting from what I trained to do. But now I've actually got a marketing person helping me, and gee, I wish I'd done that sooner. It's so much easier. I can focus on helping my clients the way I want to. So it was a real, you really needed that mindset, I guess, that choosing something you're passionate about really helps drive you to success, I think, and perseverance. You need that perseverance. Apparently, they say that after 2 years, if your business is still going, it's pretty much going to be a success. So that's I'm at the 3.5 year mark, I think. So that's good to know. And
Also, it's going to be reaching.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. And working on your mind blocks as well, like taking money for payment for helping someone. That's I found that a bit hard. I just wanted to help people get better in that because I knew that it worked and that it could change someone's life like it's done for me. And that was sort of hard to get past that. What other things? Knowing that you will succeed, you can be successful, all those sort of things. I guess. Yeah.
and particularly when you're not familiar with business, like neither of us have come
Yeah.
from that sort of background, it's really hard to actually overcome some of these blocks that come up. And I suppose
Yeah.
that's where it's useful to actually keep working on your own mindset, isn't it?
Yes, yes. And I think doing the NLP training, that really helped shift a lot of things, because my business just took off. I've had the busiest year ever. November was the busiest month ever in my business. I've actually got a bit pooped and exhausted from it, like working full consulting days and then into the night, catching up with all book work and emails and ordering and all that sort of thing, and writing up treatment plans and stuff. Yeah, so it's quietened down a little bit now, which is great. I can catch my breath and yeah, get ready for the new year, because everyone will be wanting to release some excess weight after Christmas and New Year, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, and you know, with the lockdowns and that as well, a lot of people turn to food and drink and that. So yeah, they'll be wanting a fresh start for 2021, I think.
So you need to have a bit of recharge time for you.
Definitely. Yeah.
So is there any particular advice that you would have liked to have been told before starting your business that might be helpful to anyone who's watching?
Yeah, I think with particularly the marketing and that, you know, start your business off as you want it to grow, the way you want it to grow, like with the tools. Like, you know, I finally got Xero accounting software, so I just reconcile that on my phone, so easy, all the ins and outs of financial ins and outs, and got that set up. But I took 2 years to get that set up. So I didn't actually know where I was in my business, whereas now I can just click a button and I know, you know, my profit and loss and all that sort of thing, and plan for the future as well, and set goals and targets, and getting a marketing person on board that, you know, leave it to an expert. They've done a degree and all that, and they've got the experience. Just focus on what I'm, you know, trained to do, and help people the way that I want to. Yeah, that sort of thing. I know when you start out, you don't have the finances and that, so it can be, you know, you do have to sort of start off with the basics, I guess, and do some of these things yourself. But yeah, having a coach, I think, you know, is a good idea too. A business coach. I joined a business coaching group, I think maybe 2 years ago, and she's been fantastic and really pushes you and gets you to set targets and goals and that, and supports you. So yeah, that's really good as well.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I think that they're the things that I've been learning along the way this year in particular as well. So definitely good advice.
Yeah.
All right. So we're kind of getting towards the end of our broadcast time. So it's probably time now to talk a little bit more about stress, because it has been a stressful year. And we're also going into a time of the year that can be really stressful for people as well. So I was talking to someone yesterday, and they were just so stressed about going into Christmas because of all the different things they have to consider. So from your you know, particular base knowledge, what would be your best tips to help people, you know, perhaps recover from the stress of this year and maybe go into Christmas trying to reduce their stress?
Yeah. So the first things when someone says they're stressed is sort of identifying what the stresses are and how you can minimize that stress. Support the body with good, nourishing food. B vitamins, they're key. They help to, you know, support the adrenal glands. They're little glands that sit on top of our kidneys, and they're the vital, you know, they release the fight or flight hormones. So your adrenaline, your cortisol and that. So when you have, you know, stress is a perceived danger, and it's sort of a bit out of balance in our modern life now. We're sort of on this like, almost constant state of hyper stress sort of, but how much is it is how it affects your body. But yeah, try and find ways of reducing your stress. Make sure you incorporate some exercise, get out in fresh air daily if you can. Meditation, nice deep breaths into your stomach, slow deep breaths in and out. Even just 5 minutes a day really helps, because when you're stressed, you can't digest your food properly either. So, you get the digestive symptoms, bloating, reflux, discomfort, even the other end it can affect as well, bringing on constipation and that. So, yeah, you really need to try and slow, be mindful. When you're eating, turn off the TV, sit at the table, chew your food well, be mindful of how much you're eating, because when you're not focusing on that, you can actually overeat, and then you get the discomfort, because it takes about 15 minutes for our brain to recognize when we're full. So you can easily overeat in that sort of a time frame. So your B vitamins are key. They support the adrenals, they support the hormones, they support our energy production, liver detoxification. They're sort of key. And magnesium, pretty much 70% of the population is deficient in magnesium these days because the soils are deficient. And magnesium's called nature's chill pill. So very important. Yeah. So they're the two things I would start with as a supplement, is a good B vitamin complex with magnesium, and sort of go from there, whether there's hormonal imbalances, addressing those. But the diet is, you can't outsmart or outstress a poor diet. You need the good whole foods with the vitamins, minerals, fibres, phytonutrients in them, digestive enzymes a lot of foods have to help digest your food. And that's the first place to look at your diet, and then bring in the B vitamins and magnesium. Take some time out, even 5 minutes. So I did a little post the other day about Christmas. I've been doing posts about managing your weight at Christmas, and the other day it was one about stress.
Yes.
Yeah. And, because, as you said, Christmas can be a stressful time. You're doing all these extra things. You're going to extra events. You've got work things to finish off. You've got people maybe on Christmas Day or whatever that you don't really like. Like, not everyone likes their family. As I say, you can't choose your family. You can choose your friends. So, to some people, Christmas Day is a very stressful day, as well as organising all the food and festivities and that. You may be with people you don't really want to be with. So take that 5 minutes. Go, if there's some lawn outside, take your shoes off, go and ground. So that's a method of getting the earth's energy up through your feet and helping to rebalance your body, because we do, the electromagnetic energy of the earth's core, that will help to you feel better. Do some nice slow deep breaths. Walking on the beach is another way, or in a forest. There's studies that actually show that it helps increase our natural killer cells when we walk in a forest. So it's called forest bathing in Japan. So, yeah.
I have heard of forest bathing, but yes. I mean, it really is that taking that time to pause. So once you've kind of set yourself up really well by having that great diet, and I'm assuming from what you've been saying, you're talking about people actually having basically a whole food, natural diet primarily.
Yes. So our diet is so far from normal and natural these days. We think it's fine to have biscuits and treat ourselves to this and that and drink every day, but really it's too much for our bodies. It's got a bit distorted. So, once a week treat sort of thing is how you manage it. And that's what I sort
Yes.
of help with my clients with. So get back to the basics and get things in balance again.
Yes. And I mean, when you're having that kind of diet, it really does give you automatically a lot of the nutrients you need as well, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because poor diet actually causes imbalances, of course, and affects your moods and hormone balance and all that. So yeah, it's very important. It's not supportive to your body, I guess. Yeah.
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 Yes. Definitely. All right. So some great tips there. I think even if you did some of those things on Christmas Day, if you're feeling a bit stressed, it would help. So even if you just find, nice bit of grass to just walk around on would be great. Just watch out for the ants. But yeah, definitely some great advice. So thank you for joining me, Jeanette. And I've put into the comments all different ways that people can actually get in touch with you, particularly if some of the things that you've said, they're kind of going, oh, yes, that's me, I need some help. So there's a whole range of different things you can do. I can recommend following her on Instagram. She has some great stuff that comes up, different quotes and ideas, and lots of different things. So I love following you on Instagram. But she's definitely a wealth of knowledge and someone that it would be great to work with for all of those sorts of concerns that you have. So definitely reach out to her. Just have a look at all the different ways that you can do that. All right. So thank you for joining me today, Jeanette, and I'm just going to drop you out and then I'll just kind of wrap up the broadcast. But I really appreciate you coming in and speaking to us about stress, particularly at this time of year. That was great.
You're most welcome, and thank you for having me. And I look forward to supporting anyone that's interested in getting to feel better and release some excess weight, if that might be a concern too. Thanks, Marianne.
Yes,
bye.
Definitely. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so I hope you found all of that really interesting and helpful. As I said, Jeanette does have a really interesting story, but her knowledge is just phenomenal. So hopefully you can use those ideas, help you get through Christmas. And if you're finding it a bit tough, then obviously Jeanette's there to help you. And, I'm also there to help you in different ways. So I'm not a naturopath, but I do a lot of things around helping in terms of the way that you're feeling, which kind of leads me to something I just want to talk about very quickly. So it has been a tough year, let's face it. And it's kind of getting to that point where it feels like we just want to leave it behind. I feel like that. I'm feeling like I want to have a little bit of fun. So I've actually decided to do that. I'm going to finish off the year with having a special, probably a little bit of a game almost. So this is my 12 days of Christmas super bargains, which I'm starting on Monday. And you are going to get some super amazing bargains. And there's also 2 really amazing prizes that I'll have available for people. So if you want to find out more, I am going to put some details. In fact, I'll probably do a video tomorrow on my Facebook page with some details. And, particularly if you want to have some positive action to finish off the year, this may be a way to do it at, a little bit of a fun way, save lots of money. So join me then. Now, next week is going to be the final episode of Making the Leap for the year. And we should have a little bit of fun with that as well, because my final guest is Effie. I'm never sure how to say her name. I'll try Soleil. Not sure if that's correct. Sorry, Effie. But she is so much fun. It'll be an amazing episode. So next week we're going live at 4 p.m. though. So join me then. And if I don't see you before, please enjoy your Christmas. So bye, everyone.